How's it going? My name is Kyle, and today is August 3rd. And today I'll be going through the CNBC article I found, which gives a nice overview of stimulus information on what is going on right now and what I think the federal government will do by the end of the week, which is before they go on recess. As you can see here, on August 3rd to the 7th here, they are in session, which is this week. And then after that, they will be off until September 8th. So if they do not put a package together, we will have to have either the Senate or the House be called back in from recess to put a package through, or else we will be waiting until September 8th to get the next stimulus package. So the first issue that we're facing is that the $600 federal unemployment checks are expired. People are not getting the $600 boost anymore, and the Republicans and Democrats completely disagree on how much unemployment should be paid out each week. In addition to that, the federal and state eviction moratoriums are going or gone, which means a lot of Americans are facing a lot of uncertainty in what they are going to do if they cannot afford to pay their rent. They could be possibly facing homelessness. So the Democrats want to extend the $600 weekly checks until the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Republicans are proposing that they cut those payments down to $200 through September, and then after that, the states and the federal government combined could only replace 70% of a worker's previous income. Now, to me, that 70% sounds fair and it makes sense, but here it says that experts have said that this formula is too complicated to implement. And this is the same thing that we heard with the payroll tax cut, where they said that to get relief to Americans the quickest, that is not the right solution because it would just take too long. And it's better to just send out payments than try and work out this convoluted solution that it may take months of delays before people can get payments just to afford their rent. So moving on to stimulus checks, the Democrats and Republicans both agree that another one-time round of cash payments is in the best interest of Americans. The $1,200 stimulus checks you received in the CARES Act will most likely be sent out again. The $1,200 hasn't been decided yet, but the way I see it is that with the deadline quickly approaching and Friday coming sooner and sooner and sooner, I think that they'll just jump on a $1,200 check, send it to everyone just to get the quickest amount of relief. Moving on to student loans, Mark Kantrowitz, who is a higher education expert, had said if borrowers are forced to resume repaying their student loans on October 1st, then delinquencies and defaults will skyrocket. So right now, there are 45 million Americans who hold student loan debt. That combined with the fact that 1 in 4 people between the ages of 16 and 24 are unemployed, and this year's college graduates are entering the worst job market ever, in his opinion, I think it's in America's best interest to extend the zero interest, zero payments until the end of the year so that students and young adults do not have to put whatever little savings they have into student loan payments when they should be saving that money in case they lose their job and they need to pay for rent. Right now, the Republicans and the Democrats are on two opposite sides for student loan payments. The Republicans didn't include any extension of the payment pause in their HEALS Act, and the Democrats want to extend for an entire year, which I don't see that happening. I think they're going to once again meet in the middle. The Democrats also put forward a $10,000 in debt for economically distressed borrowers, a forgiveness of that $10,000, which I can't see that happening. I don't think the Republicans would ever go for that either. Some good news with student loans is that Trump is also on board with the extension, so we'll probably see it. But like the payroll tax cut, where Trump was on board, but then it didn't go through, you really never know what Congress is going to decide. Now, lastly, I just want to go over the federal moratorium on evictions, which passed with the CARES Act, that had expired at the end of July. And the Urban Institute estimated that provision covered nearly 30% of the country's rental units. So this is a nice chart here that shows different states and how many renter households are unable to pay rent and are at risk of eviction as a share of the total renter households. So there are a lot of states in here that are close to, I would say most of them are close to or over 50%. That's a lot of people who are at risk of being evicted. It says right here that 40 million Americans could be evicted during the public health crisis. So I think that, once again, it's in America's best interest to extend that eviction ban. And I think the Republicans, the Democrats, and the president all agree that that eviction ban needs to be extended. But with them still debating small things, they're not putting a package together, and they're debating over whether or not they want to pass pieces of a package. But whatever happens, I think that Democrats and the Republicans and the president will come together for the eviction ban. I think that's something they can all agree on. And as long as they can set aside their differences on all the other issues they're facing and maybe try and meet in the middle with a lot of these issues, then they'll have a package passed hopefully before their recess, and Americans will see some relief in the near future.